After a suspect resisted arrest, he brought a lawsuit against the arresting officer, claiming excessive force. Unfortunately for him, the case didn't end the way he hoped. In fact, not only did he lose, he ended up facing consequences that extended far beyond just courtroom disappointment. The judge handed down a ruling that included an unexpected twist, ordering the suspect to give something more than just a retreating glance to the officer who arrested him. It all began when the Topeka Police Department received a call from a concerned woman. She alleged that her ex-boyfriend had stolen personal property from her. The department dispatched Officer Christopher Janes to investigate the complaint and sort out the situation. When Officer Janes arrived at the scene, he found 38-year-old Timothy Harris in the area, sitting in a car that was parked illegally. That detail, while minor, became the starting point of a much larger story. As Officer Janes approached the vehicle, he immediately detected the unmistakable scent of marijuana emanating from the car. This raised further suspicion and gave him additional legal standing to investigate. More importantly, upon running Harris's information, Officer Janes discovered that Harris had an active warrant for violating the terms of his probation. What was supposed to be a routine encounter quickly escalated. When Officer Janes attempted to arrest Harris, the situation turned physical. Body camera footage showed Harris resisting commands and struggling violently with the officer. The footage, later reviewed in court, showed Harris refusing to comply and attempting to flee. At one point, he even grabbed at Officer Janes's duty belt, alarmingly close to the officer's service weapon. This move alone could have turned deadly in an instant. To regain control of the situation, Officer Janes used a reverse palm strike and a tactical thigh lock, bringing Harris to the ground. As Harris continued to resist, Janes was forced to use pepper spray to subdue him. The struggle resulted in Harris sustaining minor facial injuries and, later, more serious damage, including a broken jaw. Once backup arrived, Harris was placed under arrest and taken into custody without further incident. Although the situation seemed resolved, things didn't end there. Harris, feeling wronged by the encounter, decided to take legal action against Officer Janes. He filed a federal lawsuit accusing the officer of excessive force and sought a staggering $1 million in damages, along with coverage for his legal fees. In his lawsuit, Harris claimed that Janes had never informed him why he was being arrested, that the officer repeatedly punched him without cause, and that he continued using force even after Harris was on the ground. He further alleged that the officer pepper sprayed him while he was defenseless, resulting in injuries that altered his life significantly. The most serious of those injuries was a broken jaw, which required his mouth to be wired shut for 2 months. During this time, Harris could consume only liquid foods, mainly broth and smoothies. A permanent metal plate was inserted into his jaw, something he argued as evidence of the brutality of the encounter. But the case was not as simple as Harris made it seem. Investigators from the city thoroughly reviewed body cam footage, witness statements, and other evidence, and found no grounds for excessive force. Harris' own ex-girlfriend, who initially called the police and confirmed that he had fought with the officer, ultimately testified on his behalf during the trial, though her earlier statements painted a very different picture. After several days of testimony and arguments from both sides, a federal jury weighed the evidence carefully. They deliberated for just over 2 hours, a relatively short time for a case involving such serious claims. In the end, the jury unanimously sided with Officer Janes. They concluded that the force used during the arrest was justified given Harris's resistance and the dangerous circumstances, including his attempt to reach for the officer's belt. As a result, Harris not only lost his lawsuit and received no compensation, but he was also ordered to pay a hefty sum. The court held him responsible for a total of $197,120.55 in legal fees associated with the trial. But the humiliation didn't end there. In a striking conclusion to the trial, U.S. District Judge Dan Crabtree issued a separate order that Harris must also cover Officer Janes's legal costs, including his court fees and attorney's expenses. That amount came to an additional $37,688, bringing the grand total to a staggering $234,808.60. What began as an attempt to sue for $1 million payout had now turned into a financial nightmare. In the official court order, the judge wrote, "The court orders that plaintiff recovers nothing. The action is dismissed on the merits, and defendant Christopher Janes recover costs from plaintiff." The message was clear. The lawsuit had no merit, and the officer's actions were lawful under the circumstances. Topeka City Attorney Amanda Stanley praised the jury's decision, noting that it aligned with the findings of their own investigation. After a 3-day trial, the jury rendered a verdict in favor of Officer Janes, finding that he did not use excessive force against the plaintiff, she said. No money was awarded to the plaintiff. The city is pleased with the jury's verdict. The plaintiff has the opportunity to appeal, and as such, the city will not comment further on the matter. Still, Harris wasn't done voicing his frustration. He told reporters that the pain from his jaw was intense and that the recovery process was agonizing. He said he lived off broth and soft foods for weeks, and even months later, he still experienced drooling and difficulty chewing. These symptoms, he insisted, were lasting reminders of what he believed was an unjustified assault. His attorney, Ben Stelter-Embry, expressed disappointment at the outcome, but acknowledged the finality of the jury's decision. "Obviously, we're disappointed, but the jury, in its wisdom, didn't agree with our side of what happened," Stelter-Embry said. "That's the judicial system, and it did what it was supposed to do." Although Harris still has the option to appeal the verdict, the financial burden may deter him. Pursuing another round in court would not only mean more legal fees, but also more time, effort, and potential for deeper debt. With both the city's review and the federal court siding against him, his chances of a successful appeal appear slim. This case serves as a sobering reminder of the risks involved when resisting arrest. In an age where viral clips and high-profile lawsuits shape public opinion on police conduct, many are quick to assume that any force used is excessive. But not every claim holds water in court. As Timothy Harris learned the hard way, sometimes it's wiser to comply, sort things out legally afterward, and walk away with a bruised ego rather than risk walking away with a broken jaw and a $250,000 bill. The outcome of Harris's case also sent a clear message to others who might consider misusing the legal system in hopes of financial gain or public sympathy. While the legal system is designed to protect civil rights and ensure accountability, it also protects law enforcement officers from false accusations when evidence proves their actions were justified. In this case, the body cam footage, witness testimony, and expert analysis painted a consistent picture, one in which Officer Janes followed protocol under pressure. The jury's swift decision underscored the importance of facts over emotion, reminding the public that resisting arrest carries consequences, and filing baseless lawsuits can end in more than just defeat. It can lead to financial devastation.